Hello everyone, Judai ASMR here, and today I will be talking through my Yu-Gi-Oh deck that I managed to beat a person who contested in the Pro League for a little bit. And also, sorry if there's any background noise or static or anything like that, it's just, I don't really have a good mic, and my cockerel might interrupt at some points, so sorry about him. But, anyways, I to summarize my deck mainly, I use Blue Eyes cards and, well, dragons, more or less specifically. So, we'll start off with the monster cards, then we'll go through spell cards, trap cards, and then my extra deck. So, to begin with, we have two Divine Dragon Lord Felgrants. It is a dragon with an effect. It's a light type, it's a level 8, and its effect is if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target one monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish it. And if you do, this card gains attack and defense equal to the banished monster's original level / rank times 100. If you banish an Xyz monster, you still get the levels. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target one level 7 or 8 monster in the graveyard, except Divine Dragon Lord Felgrand, special summon it to the field. There are two of them in the deck. Next is Deep Eyes White Dragon, who has an attack and defense of 0. He's a light type. I believe he is a level 10. He is a dragon with an effect. His effect is when a face-up Blue Eyes monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, and you have a dragon-type monster in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, inflict 600 damage to your opponent for each dragon-type monster with different names in your graveyard. This card is normal or special summoned. Target one dragon-type monster in your graveyard. This card's attack becomes equal to that monster's. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. There is one of them because it is an incredibly rare card. Next up are 3 copies of the White Stone of Ancients. It's a dragon tuner monster with an effect. It is a level 1 light type. Its attack is 600, its defense is 500. Its effect is once per turn during the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, and target one Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of the White Stone of Ancients once per turn. And there's 3 of them in there because that effect is really useful. Next up is 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. One of them is from the Dark Side of Dimensions box, so it has limited edition art, which is very nice. The other 2 are classic art styles, which is also very nice. And there are, of course, 3 of them, because Blue Eyes, you need to have 3 of them. Next up is Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. It is a level 10 dragon with an effect. It's a dark type. Its attack is 2,800 and its defense is 2,400. Its effect is you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one face-up dragon-type monster you control. Once per turn, you can special summon one dragon-type monster from your hand or graveyard, except Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This is a restricted card, and you're only allowed one of them. So, of course, I'm only running 1. Next is Sage with Eyes of Blue. He is a ultra rare, so he has quite a cool graphic to him. He is a light type, level 1. His attack is 0, his defense is 1,500. He is a spellcaster tuner with an effect. His effect is, when this card is normal summoned, you can add one level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand, except Sage with Eyes of Blue. You can discard this card, then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can only use the effect of Sage with Eyes of Blue once per turn. I only have 1 of these. I don't know if he's restricted or not, but I only run the 1. Next is Maiden with Eyes of Blue, another light level 1 type monster, so it can chain in with Sage's effect. It's a spellcaster tuner with an effect. Its attack is 0 and its defense is also 0. Its effect is when this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card. Then you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During either player's turn, when the card or effect is activated, it targets this face-up card, except during the damage step. You can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use one Maiden of Eyes of Blue effect per turn, and only once that turn. So you can select one of those abilities and use it once per turn. Of course, I only have the one, so it wouldn't really be a problem. Next up is Master with Eyes of Blue, who is another light level 1 monster. He's a spellcaster tuner with an effect. His attack is 300, his defense is 1200. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one level 1 light tuner monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck, then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard. If you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard other than that of the sent monster. You can only use the effect of Master with Eyes of Blue once per turn. I only run one of these, so. But that seems very useful. And it is. It's very clutch. Next up is the White Stone of Legend, another light level 1. It's a dragon tuner. Its attack is 300, its defense is 250. But its effect is, when this card is sent to the graveyard, add one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. Very simple, but very effective. Next up are the 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, level 8, light type. Its attack is 3000, its defense is 2500, the same as Blue Eyes. Well, Blue Eyes White Dragon, the original. It cannot be normal summon / set. It must be special summoned from your hand by revealing Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. You can only special summon Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon once per turn this way. This card's name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it is on the field, or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated, and there are 3 of them in the deck, because they are very useful to go with the regular 3 Blue Eyes. Because it makes it seem like you have 6 instead of 3. It's very useful. Next up is Dragon Spirit of White, another level 8 monster with the light attribute is a dragon effect. Its attack is 2500, its defense is 2000. Its effect is, in brackets, this card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. Close brackets. This card is treated as a normal monster while in the hand or graveyard. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, banish it. During either player's turn, if your opponent controls a monster, you contribute this card, special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. And I have 3 of these as well. Next up are 2 copies of Archbrave Dragon. Archbrave Dragon's effect is... Oh wait, no. It's a dragon effect. It's a level 7, I believe. Yep, level 7. It's a light type. Its attack is 2400. Its defense is 2000. Its effect is, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can banish as many face-up spell or trap cards your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, this card gains 200 attack and defense for each card banished. Once per turn, during the standby phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there last turn, you can target one level 7 or 8 monster in your graveyard, except Archbrave Dragon, special summon it. I have 2 copies of that, as I said. Alright, next up are the large variety of spell cards I have in here. So I have 2 copies of the spell card Dragon Shrine. It is a regular spell card, so it is in a quick play, or it is in a continuous. It's just regular. You have to use it on your turn. The effect is, send one dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then, if that monster in your graveyard is a dragon-type normal monster, such as Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can send one more dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate one Dragon Shrine per turn, and I run 2 copies of that. Next up is a single copy of Soul Charge, which it's a regular spell card, just like Dragon Shrine. Its ability is, Target any number of monsters in your graveyard, special summon them, and if you do, you lose 1,000 life points for each monster special summoned by this effect. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect, and you can only activate one soul charge per turn. I don't know why you'd want to do it again, but okay. Next up is a limited card, 1 for 1. It is a regular spell card, and its effect is send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one level 1 monster from your hand or deck. So it'd be useful for getting Sage, Master, or the other one, I can't remember her name. Maiden with Eyes of Blue. It's good for getting those out. And this deck is all about sending them to the graveyard and then getting them back out again, as you'll see. Next up are 3 copies of the card The Melody of Awakening Dragon. This is another regular spell card. Its effect is discard 1 card, add it to 2 dragon-type monsters with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. Very useful for getting Blue Eyes monsters or anything like that out of the deck and into your hand. So thinning your deck, which is very useful. I run 3 copies of that. Next are 3 copies of the card Return of the Dragon Lords. It's another regular spell card. Its effect is target 1 level 7 or 8 monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If a dragon type monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. I run 3 copies of that because both of those effects are very useful, and you can use that effect as much as you want. So if you have 3 of them in the graveyard and 1 Blue Eyes on the field, you can stop it being attacked 3 times. It's very useful. Next up is Silver's Cry, a quick play spell, which means that if you set it, you can play it on either player's turn, which is very useful. Its effect is target 1 dragon-type normal monster in your graveyard, such as a Blue Eyes, special summon that target. You can only activate 1 Silver's Cry per turn. I believe it... Wait, no, it isn't a limited card, but I only run 1 of it. Next up is the spell card Terraforming. It's a normal spell card, and it simply allows you to add 1 field spell card from your deck to your hand. And how coincidental! The next card is the field spell. The field spell is called Dragon Ravine. It is, as I said, a field spell, so it is put in a different slot to the other spell and traps. And its effect is once per turn, you can discard 1 card, then activate 1 of these effects. You can add 1 level 4 or lower Dragonuity monster from your deck to your hand, or you can send 1 Dragon-type monster from the deck to the graveyard. That is very handy considering how the deck revolves around sending Dragon-type monsters to the graveyard. Next up are 3 versions of the card Trade-In. This is another normal spell card, and its effect is discard 1 level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. That's very good for sending stuff like Blue Eyes to the graveyard, or high-level ones that can be special summoned from the graveyard and have effects, because it's very handy for sending them in there. Next up is the card that only recently came back into circulation as allowed, Monster Reborn. It's a regular spell card, and its simple effect is target 1 monster in either player's graveyard, special summon it to your side of the field. Next up is the card Dark Hole. It's another regular spell, which simply has 1 effect. Destroy all monsters on the field. Okay, now the trap cards. I only have 3 of these, so this will be quick. 1 is Magic Cylinder, and its effect is... Oh, and it's a regular trap card, but you have to set these before it going into the opposition turn, and then you can activate them when their criteria are met. So, Magic Cylinder is when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. That's very useful if you get attacked by a very high power monster. Next up is the ultimate cheese card, Mirror Force. It's a regular trap card, and its ability is when an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. Sorry about the little burps there. And finally, the trap card Champion's Vigilance, which is a counter trap card, which which means it can only be activated when this criteria is met specifically. Its effect is, if you control a level 7 or higher normal monster, such as a Blue Eyes, when a monster would be summoned or a spell/trap card is activated, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. This is very useful, but it is limited to only one per deck because of recent restrictions, because it can be very OP when you have a Blue Eyes. And finally, the extra deck, which consists of 15 cards, so it should be quite easy to get through. First up is Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It is a level... Oh god, I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It is a level 12 monster. It's a Dragon Fusion with an effect. It has 4,500 attack and 3,800 defense, which is very high. Its effect is Blue Eyes White Dragon plus Blue Eyes White Dragon plus Blue Eyes White Dragon. It must be summoned using polymerization. At the end of the damage step, if this is the only face-up card you control and the fusion summoned card attacked, you can send one Blue Eyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. This card can attack again in a row. You can use the effect of Neo Blue Eyes White Dragon up to twice that turn, giving it a total of 3 attacks. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Next up is Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. This requires 2 Blue Eyes, 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's a Dragon Fusion with an effect. It is level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by sending the above monsters you control to the graveyard, so 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, in which case you do not use polymerization. And it cannot be special summoned by other ways. It cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, and at the end of the damage step, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by the battle, you can banish the opponent's monster, which is very useful if you face a higher defense or attack opponent. Next up are 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. It is a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. It is a Dragon Synchro with an effect. It has 2,500 attack and 3,000 defense. Its effect is, it requires 1 tuner monster or 1 or more non-tuner Blue Eyes monster. Its effect is, neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation. During either player's turn, you contribute the Synchro Summon card, special summon 1 light Dragon-type Synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except for Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. I run 2 copies of that card. Next up is Yusei from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5DS, or 5Ds, however you want to pronounce it. It's this iconic card, Stardust Dragon. It is a Dragon Synchro with an effect. It has 2,500 attack and 2,000 defense, and its level is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Its effect requires 1 tuner or 1 or more non-tuner monsters to summon. You contribute this card to negate the activation of a spell card, trap card, or effect monster's effect that destroys a card on the field, and destroy that card. If you negate an effect this way, you can special summon this card from your graveyard during the end phase. So you tribute the monster and then you get it back, which is very useful. Next up are 2 copies of Azure Eye Silver Dragon. It is a Dragon Synchro with an effect. It is level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. It has 2,500 attack and 3,000 defense. It requires 1 tuner or 1 or more non-tuner normal monsters. When this card is special summoned, Dragon-type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of next turn. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. I run 2 copies of that, and it can be useful for getting out blue eyes, or if you synchro summon using a blue eyes, it can be used to just get it back again. Next up are the experimental cards I throw in here because I really love the Galaxy Eyes cards, and they work really well with this deck. So we have 2 Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragons. They are rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are a light type attribute, and they are a Dragon Xyz effect. It has an attack of 4,000 and a defense of 3,500. It requires 3 level 8 monsters, but you can also Xyz summon this card by using a Galaxy Eyes Xyz monster you control as the Xyz material, except for Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. Xyz material is attached to the monster, also becomes the Xyz materials on this card. So you get all the Xyz materials that was on your previous card, plus 1. Once per turn, you can target up to 2 equipped cards equipped to this card, attach them to this card as Xyz material. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, and target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. And I run 2 copies of that card. Next up is Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a Dragon Xyz with an effect. It has an attack of 3,000 and a defense of 2,500. It requires 2 level 8 monsters. Its effect is, once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Monsters you control cannot attack your opponent directly for the rest of this turn, except for this card. Also, take control of the targeted monster until the end phase. But when this effect is applied, it has its effects negated, its attack becomes 3,000, also its name becomes Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. Which is very, very good, and I run 2 copies of that card. Next up is number 95, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. It is a Dragon Xyz with an effect. Its attack is 4,000, and its defense is 0. It requires 3 level 9 monsters. But you can also Xyz summon this card by using a Galaxy Eyes Xyz monster you control as the Xyz material. And, yet again, Xyz materials attached to that monster also become Xyz materials on this card. It cannot be used as an Xyz material for an Xyz summon. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can send 3 Dragon-type monsters with different type names from your deck to the graveyard, and your opponent banishes 3 monsters from their deck of their choice. You can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. I run 2 copies of that card. And then for the finale, 2 copies of number... Oh, I can't read that. Oh my god. I forgot how shiny this card was. Give me a second, I've got to try and get the right angle on this. Number 107. There we go. It's just one of my copies is very prismatic. And I always like reading that one. So number 107, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. It's a Dragon Xyz with an effect. Its attack is 3,000, its defense is 2,500. It requires 2 level 8 monsters. Once per battle phase, at the start of your battle phase, you can detach 1 material from this card. All other face-up monsters currently on the field have their effects negated. Also, their attack and defense become their original attack and defense. And if you do any of these during the battle phase this turn, each time an opponent's card effect resolves, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of the battle phase. Also, it can make a second attack during the battle phase this turn. And I run 2 copies of that. And that is my deck. That is all 55 cards involved in it. It's a deck that I quite like because I've always been into the dragon cards, and I honestly hope you enjoyed my talking through it, even though I managed to somehow screw it up somehow, I'm guessing, because I stuttered quite a bit. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed me talking through my deck. I hope you found it maybe a little bit soothing, or if it helped you in any way, or if you just needed someone to ramble in the background. I'm glad to have helped. Anyways, I will talk to you all later, and enjoy this 25-minute recording. Hello everyone, Judai ASMR here, and today I will be talking through my Yu-Gi-Oh deck managed to beat a